morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending where you're joining us from. So today we're going to have a very special gentleman. So as you know, so the masterclass is about training people to become a solar developer. But you don't need to work that hard because what we have done for you, we have brought people that already have the experience. And I'm having here today with me the founder and CEO of KNS Solar, Mr. Guy Koloko. Guy, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm living the dream. I'm doing wonderful, my friend. Thank
Yeah,
God.
you're living the solar dream all the way from Texas, but definitely making impact in Africa. So that's
Yeah,
fine.
absolutely.
Excellent.
I'm feeling
Oh,
good. How about you, Tony?
whoa, as usual, right? Busy, but I'm doing good. Happy to be doing what I'm doing and doing my best to make sure that we can bring electrification to Africa. So that's what we're all about.
Fantastic,
That's
man.
that's
I'm all
that's the
about that too. Let's do it.
truth.
Fantastic.
Excellent, excellent.
Fantastic.
So, Guy, I know you are a very busy man, so let me just dive into it because I think I don't want to make you wait for too long. So, I just wanted to say, just to make sure that we can give proper justice to the fantastic career that you've developed so far. I know about your career, but people listening to us don't know about you yet, but they're just about to find out. So, would you mind, in few words, just introducing yourself and your company, please?
Yeah, sure. My name is Guy Koloko,
Mm,
and I am originally from Cameroon in Central Africa. Um, Basically, I was graduated from a technical high school back home in Douala, that is called Collège de la Salle. So I graduated as with the F1 major in high school, which is kind of like tools maker or part maker, designer for mechanical structure or part, basically. And then from there, I came into the US in 2004. I Me and my brothers, my sisters, we landed in Atlanta, Georgia. That's where we started our journey. And I basically went to a college called Southern Polytech State University. Um, it's a second uh, technical university behind Georgia Tech
okay.
in Georgia, right? So I went there because they offered a pretty interesting major. From my background and always, I was the kind of kid who, back home, if you have a problem with your TV or with your record cassette, I was opening up, changing, or I was always opening up stuff.
Okay.
Cassette, opening up, changing all the bands. I was always curious to open things. So I heard about a major. It's called mechatronics
Mm-hmm.
engineering, which is mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and computer science, all three combined together into one major. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, what? I've never heard of that. What can you do with that major? Because it seems like you got three brands into one,
Uh-huh.
and found out you can actually, you design and program drones. I've done that so many times in school. You program robots. You set up a new automation system,
Mm-hmm.
industrial automation. That's exactly what it is: industrial automation and remote control,
Okay.
basically. So that's you kind of engineer to do that, right? So it was interesting. I said, okay, this is what I want to do. So I enrolled into to the college, got a student loan eventually, unfortunately, but hey, so I graduated and that's when I really started my professional life here. Basically, I worked for a company who we were designing and installing car wash system. So we had about 500 car wash. It was just car wash, but 18 wheelers that to wash like big trucks.
Mm-hmm.
So they had an automation system where when you pulled in, different sensors, water comes out, brush starts spinning. So I was controlling remotely, troubleshooting all those equipment from my office in Atlanta, Georgia. So that's mechatronics. And then they flew me to Houston. I went to Houston, and then I liked the city. And yeah, and then from there I moved into Houston.
Excellent. I can see that you have a pretty interesting journey all the way from Cameroon to the US, from Atlanta to Houston. Very, very interesting journey. But I'd like to find out even a little bit more because now
Okay.
I can see you're a big boss for KNS Solar. And I know KNS Solar is doing very well. So you're doing many projects in the US, but also outside of the US. So how did you get into the sector? So what was your journey to solar?
Okay. Okay. So when I moved to Houston, I worked for a very reputable oil and gas company. The first one is called Anadarko. So I worked at Anadarko as a project engineer, and basically, I think it was 2015, 16, around that time when the price of the oil was actually went down. So they started laying off people. And my supervisor just came to me and said, "Hey, Guy, because I'm a very cool guy, cool, laid back guy." So my supervisor was like a very good friend. He was like, "What are you gonna do when you're gonna get laid off?" I said, "I'm sorry." I said, "Yeah, but do you have any plan when you will get laid off, Guy?" And start joking. I was like, "Yeah, you joking, you playing." He told me that twice, Tony. So I didn't know if it was like a warning, like, okay, figure out what you gotta do. So basically, I talked to my wife and I said, "Hey, we need to have a stable career." And coming from Cameroon, where we were born and raised in power outage, like even I finished my high schools study with candles. Everyone from Cameroon should know that. I mean, everybody should acknowledge that. It's just very bad. So renewable energy came into my mind. Like, hey, there's something else that you can do. Don't just do oil and gas. What can you bring back to Africa learning oil and gas? You need to learn something that would be substantially participate into
Mhm.
the development and create jobs. So renewable just stuck into my head. I got to do renewable. So first thing I tried was to work for a solar company in Houston. At the time, they had only three of them.
Okay.
So none of them could have afford a six-figure project engineer in oil and gas. So I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, I think I'm stuck. I'm just gonna have to create the company. So I talked to my wife. I said, hey, let's just do it. If it doesn't work, plan B, I'm just gonna find another job, and then we can just keep going like that. So okay, sure, try it. So literally Google how to register a solar company. Follow all the direct. I'm serious. I followed all the direction. I quit my job. I went back to my job. I said, hey, you know what? In and out. I don't want to do in and out. I think I found my career. I quit my job and I started my company, KNS Solar, which is Koloko and Siako, me and my wife. So it was really like a family-owned solar company back in the days, and then we got it started, and that's really where KNS started. I took some training online. Learn how to design, size a solar system, and basically I started making phone calls, and I got one particular customer from out of town. They were looking for solar installers.
Mhm.
So I was like, I'm an installers, and I have my certification. So it was like, I have 20 installs. Can you deliver? So yeah, of course. From that time, Tony, I just decided to being the actual installer, not looking for contract, because I wanted to master that field to
Mhm.
actually deliver the product. So that's how everything started. Then the rest is history.
That's impressive. That's just impressive. I think that's very, very. I'm very glad we were actually fortunate to obviously interview you because that's a fantastic story, and I'm hoping that people that are learning that can see how you create your own luck. So obviously, here is a guy having a job, making good money, hearing about things changing, and especially important at the moment because with everything going on, right? Because I think people are losing a lot of faith, and people are losing as well courage. I think just
Yes.
listening to you, Guy, I think they should understand that there's always a way for them to get back into your feet if you just can think twice. That's excellent. So let's carry on a little bit, because I know that, as you said, so this journey, it looks like a sort of a, let's say, a dream. It's definitely sort of a dream have come true, but I know it wasn't that easy. So I just wanted to know whether you can touch on some of the specific challenges that you have gone through, and how you overcame them, please.
Yes, so eventually the first challenge will be, okay, you registered and start up a company, whether it's solar or whatever company you want to venture in. You need to bring revenue. You need to make a sale. You need to, bring a cash flow. You need to get the company going.
Mm,
What should you do? How do you start? So I think that was my very first challenge, because I had to learn how to market the product. Again, I'm coming from strict engineer, technical engineer, never learned anything about running a business management, none of the skills. So I learned every day as I was going, every day, how to do my, booking. And basically the marketing was the hardest part, because I had to understand how to market the product, how to price it, because otherwise I wouldn't have any income, or any revenue. So that was the first challenge, marketing, to me. And then the second challenge was actually to structure a company. What's the roles and responsibility for every employees? Very, very, very critical. Every employee must know what they have to do, but detailed. Otherwise, people just coming, wait for the paycheck, and keep it going if they don't have any goals. I mean, there's so many. Woo, running a business is, and the one that is always gonna be a challenge to me, no matter how I'm going to the industry, is how
mm,
to deal with people. How to deal with employees. It's you deal with different type of people,
mm,
whether it's a male or a female. You need to understand. I mean, oof. At the end of the day, there's no one person that can run a business. It has to be a teamwork. Okay,
okay.
so I think that should be the actual, main focus of any entrepreneur or any
Mm,
person want to run into the business, and how to make sure everybody is actually being taken care of. Everybody has a very detailed task to do, reward them. I mean, there's a lot. It's just very difficult. I think those are the most challenges that I've got so far. Yeah,
and I
definitely.
love it. I just love the way you said that, because what he highlighted, obviously, because, and this is the reason, for example, at Renewables in Africa, we wanted definitely to create this masterclass, because we needed people to understand that to be a solar entrepreneur, to be a solar developer, it's very different to be a solar installer. It's a
Oh
completely
yeah.
different
Oh
story.
yeah.
I think
Oh
the
yeah. Oh yeah.
technical parts are almost going to say is almost the easy part. So if you know
Yeah.
your game, so if you have
Yeah.
the skill, running the company and everything around it, that's what is important. So when you're structuring and dealing, for example, with setting up a project, there's all of it that needs to come into place. You just mentioned, Guy, you were talking about the marketing, running a team, or the finance. All of that needs to be coming into perspective. No, that's brilliant. And like I say, thank you very much again, because that's exactly the kind of information we knew you could bring to the program. So let me ask you the last question for the first part of the of this video, this conversation.
Okay.
So you and I obviously are very keen on our continent, and actually, for people that don't know, so you and I come from the same place, so
Yes. Yes.
the beautiful Cameroon, but we clearly see ourselves first as African. So why do you believe it's so important to have more local solar developer in Africa?
Well, um, basically, solar is still at the early phase, right? Whether even let's just take in a country like here in the US, I bet you, you know, maybe 3 or 4 out of 10, maybe, I mean, I'm even generous, out of 10 people talking about solar, they have no clue what you're talking about.
Mm.
We're here in the US, so imagine back in Africa. So there's still rooms to grow, and developing solar project is a key because the develop, we need to bring in more projects online. So we need to have a set of people, especially youth, that will not only learn the skills to develop a solar project, but also improve it as they are growing into the business.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something, look, 50% of the population of Cameroon are under 25 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So if you develop a scheme to train those youth at early, under 25 to develop a solar project, how do you think a country will become 5 or 10 years down the line? So it's very important. It's a key. It's one of the main, as the main key, the main thing to unleash the rapid solar deployment in Africa, in my
Mm.
opinion.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much for that, Guy. I think, as I
Thank
say,
you.
so this was a very inspirational part, first part of the conversation. I think I can't wait to talk to you in the second part. And for those of you who don't understand what I'm talking about, obviously in the second part, so for those of you that are choosing to go into the program, so obviously Guy's going to be talking about a little bit more knowledge about how do you actually look at some aspect of the project, right? And that kind of thing is a very experienced. So, Guy, remind me. So, how long have you been running the company for now? You said
5 years, going 6 years in 3 months.
exactly 6 years and 3 months, and the company is
Yeah.
growing. When I know, so
Oh yeah,
definitely,
it's going. It's going big. It's going big. It's going big. Bigger than I
yeah,
thought.
yeah. So definitely, this is the man who knows what he's doing. So, like, as I say, so we can't wait to get into that second part. So before that, obviously, we're just gonna have a short break. So, Guy, thank you very much for your time, and then
Thank
we're
you.
looking forward
My
to
pleasure.
speaking to you shortly.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you.